Also, hi, Tyler. How have you been? I feel like I have a parasocial relationship with you now only.
I trust it.
You trust my parasocial
I trust
relationship with you.
our forces to, they magnetize regularly, which is what I
I
like
wore
about this.
I wore these earrings for you.
Mm, I love me a pizza emoji.
Well, hey everybody, it's Michael Osinski.
And it's also Tyler Esselman.
And you are listening to and or watching This One Goes to 11.
This One Goes to 11 continues to be our podcast, where each week we invite somebody into our virtual living room to make their case for what they believe is a perfect album.
So perfect that 10 out of 10 just isn't good enough.
No.
No.
Come on, people.
It's not.
By now you should know. It's not good enough.
Can I, and I realize that when this episode comes out, it's a little late for this, but I would just like to vent about something really quick before we get into the episode. Then I promise we'll get into the episode. I would just like to say that I knew about Wolf Parade before everybody else knew about Wolf Parade.
Okay.
This
wildly specific.
Well, no, because everyone's like, "Oh my god, I watched Heated Rivalry," and yes, that song is used very effectively, and everyone loves Wolf Parade now, and I'm like, y'all, where were you 20 years ago when the band was making music?
You've been talking about Wolf Parade. I've heard you talk about them. Okay, so I've been bricked. My phone's been bricked. I haven't been on Instagram,
Okay.
And it's kind of great. So I don't know all the Heated Rivalry shit, and I also haven't watched it yet. Is it great?
It's pretty good. And it's only 6 episodes, so you can you can get through it, and it's
hell yeah. I'm intrigued.
Maybe no children around.
Okay.
Oh, no children.
I won't do this while babysitting.
No. I don't.
That'd be bad news.
Don't do that.
Bad news bears. Okay, we have serious business to get to today, Michael. For those of you, thanks for coming back to listen to and or watch the podcast. If you watched the first couple episodes of season 10, then you know what we're doing for season 10. Our guests are all previous guests, former guests from the pod already. So repeaters. They're getting their second appearance. Or sometimes third.
Third in this case.
If you're nasty. So I think that we need to introduce our guest for this week. Michael, who are we talking to?
Oh my gosh, we're talking to Meg Williams.
Miss Williams, if you're nasty. Yes.
If you're nasty. Which is reference, of course, to Meg's first appearance on the pod.
It is.
Jan Jackson.
Yes, though not that album. Technically,
no.
that's from Control, but yes.
This is one of the great gifts. When we weren't recording, we were waiting for Michael's internet to come back up.
Yeah, fuck you, Verizon.
Fuck you, Verizon. Meg and I were talking about our love for Michael Osinski, and I feel like one of the things about loving Michael Osinski is that you come to love Janet Jackson a lot. That's the...
I mean, I came to it, honestly, on my own in grade school. Go back and listen to the episode. But I did want to tell you guys, I thought of you the other day because I was listening to music in my car, and I asked, Siri or whatever to play the Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation album, and she said, okay, playing Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, 1814. And I was like, this lady doesn't even know it's a year.
She has no idea.
This is technically your third appearance, Meg, because you also joined us for our live albums episode one summer. And I guess, we'll get to the chit chat. I mean, followers of This One Goes to 11 know you are deeply connected to this podcast. But for those of us who can't read, could you please tell us which album that came out before you were born? And it's real close on this one. Which album that came out before you were born are you bringing before the tribunal today?
Squeaking it in 5 months before I was born, I am bringing you London Calling by The Clash, the only band that matters.
I have questions about that. I have questions about where that slogan came from, but maybe I'm sure we'll get to that. I think
it's marketing marketing shit, man.
Well, everything's marketing.
I'm going to blame
isn't
Mick
that so
Jones.
interesting?
That sounds like some Mick Jones shit.
We're talking about punk music yet again on the pod. It's been a big topic for us because we spoke to our friend Lindsay Teskey about punk, and she's sort of one of our guiding punk lights on this podcast. And this was a band, or this was an album that I felt like it was coming eventually, right, Michael? Did you kind of feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah.
This was in my first list I sent you.
Yes. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. So it had already popped up. I think you're probably the only person to have nominated it, though, right?
I feel like one other person may have brought up this album specifically.
Maybe Lindsay did.
And if we're gonna be a Clash album, like this would be the one. This is
the one.
Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well,
the iconic.
So we know a little bit. We know a little bit of something about punk music, and that's just because we're some guys with a pod, but you out there, you may not know much about the Clash, and you may not know much about this album, but we do have a convenient segment to get you caught up. It's everybody's favorite segment. What's it called, Michael?
It's called The Beginner's Guide to the Clash's London Calling in 60 seconds.
In 60 seconds. And I'm doing it today. I tried.
You've had some challenging ones. Like you've gotten stuck with some of the like big artists having to really reduce it to 60 seconds. I did a skim of the Wikipedia before today, and I'm like, ooh, how are you going to condense all this down?
And I'll tell you what. Here was in what I feel like is a little bit of a fuck you fashion. I was like, I'm gonna say fuck it about this, and I'm not gonna think too hard about it. That's kind of how I did. I sort of free wrote in some ways. So
okay.
we'll see how it comes across. It might be a little short, but we'll see. Brevity is the soul of wit, as they say.
Short, unlike this album, but we'll get to that.
Correct. Okay.
Okay. I got 60 seconds. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
You can think of the Clash as the coalescing of the nascent forces of punk music in London in the 1970s, and the resulting partnership primarily consisting of Joe Strummer, Mick Jones, Paul Simonon, and Nicky Topper Head-On. The mythical forces of the early UK punk scene brought them together, and after rehearsing for less than a month, they did their first gig on July 4th, 1976 at the Black Swan nightclub in Sheffield, supporting our old friends the Sex Pistols. That led to the fellows fatefully attending a performance by the Ramones, and the fuse was lit on a punk explosion that can be felt in rock music to this day. Noted as one of the greatest rock albums of all time, the band's third album, London Calling, represents the forward thinking and ambition of the band. They took their punk roots and mashed them in a mortar and pestle with reggae, ska, and rockabilly. All of this along with a consistently strong political bent to their lyrics that has become the model for most any punk band worth their salt. They're Bono's greatest rock band ever. They are the Clash.
All right, came in under the wire. Under the wire.
Oh my God, you're doing so great until you said Bono, man. I mean, you're not wrong, but ugh.
All right,
I thought you might like that.
All right, Meg, how do you do?
I mean,
any notes or evaluation?
I think my notes have been given. It is a pretty straight line from the Clash to you two, but I don't love that for us. Well, there was one day of my life when I was so hungover that I was listening to music, trying to get over a hangover, and I thought that Bono was maybe the voice of God. And then I was like, well, that proves that I'm wrong because I was so sick.
There was
we're getting
well, no. There's I will say my little thing is there was this one my sophomore year. Whoever lived next to me on Tolly 3rd used to come back from class every afternoon and would play. I still haven't found what I'm looking for on repeat, which is funny on multiple levels.
That's great.
And I can't, depending, off pod, I'll tell you who was in that room, Meg, because I don't know which one of the two people it is, but either way, it's hilarious. So anyway.
Okay. I will forget that you said that until I listen to this back, and then I will text you.
Okay, awesome.
So when this episode comes back, you're immediately getting a text.
Michael continues to be the keeper of the tea. That is.
The Michael Osinski hallmark of life is, I have something to tell you, but not yet.
Yes. You are just that
I'm like
Grinch.
I'm like
You're just
25
that
Guilty
years
Grinch.
as
strong on that.
charged.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So Meg,
All right.
as we said, you are. I mean, you might be our most. You might be our. Well, we've had several repeat guests now. So, but I still think I think the beta episode puts you ahead of everybody in the count because
That's
you have
right.
one more. You started from ahead. You started with a head start.
And it
So
would be
I'm pretty.
great if no one ever hears that episode.
It's on an old
So,
computer that I don't know that I can get access to now. So
Yeah,
you're
we'll
safe.
see. It was a good episode. We were figuring it
fun.
out. It was fun.
Fun.
And we were talking about a great album. But anyway, since you've been on before, some of our astute listeners will probably know a little bit about you and your past. You come from Michael's side of the family tree of the
Mike
The
crew.
Mike
Mike
side
crew.
of the family.
OG
You are
Mike crew.
firmly Mike team. You're firmly the team Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Which is
100%.
you might even be the chairperson of Team Mike. You
I
might
think
be.
I might be. I mean, like, yeah, Mike and I have lived together. We have
Mhm.
run a theater company together in our past. We
Mhm.
have had many silly endeavors and serious endeavors.
Yeah.
You know, Mike got married in my house.
Yeah. I mean, let's put too fine a point on it. Like let's do that. That's
We're
what
besties.
Yeah. So this is you're an A1 in the Michael lexicon,
Yeah.
as I've known you, and then you so generously let me sleep in your house when
In the tiniest bed ever, and you're just the tallest person. And when I first met you and I knew you were gonna have to sleep in that tiny bed, I was like, oh
it
no.
was so funny. It was
I'm
so funny.
sorry.
I love that little room though. Philly's great. Philly in the summer's great. It's a stinky, sweaty, beautiful little town,
It's
isn't
just
it?
the worst,
It's just
best
So
place.
gross.
Philly's great. I have
Yeah.
great affection for it, but
And I have great affection for you. And we were immediately like, we're
it's
on the
best.
wavelength. Like, let's just
So
eat some
fun.
pizza and be cool.
Yeah, so fun. It was free and easy. But anyway, so we know you have good taste. We trust you. So this, instead of asking you about your musical history, we're taking an opportunity this season to ask our repeat guests, what's music doing for you now? What part is it playing in your life at the moment?
It's interesting. So I live in New Jersey, and you don't.
And we don't.
We were doing a Phil Murphy thing. So I live in New Jersey, and I live in a small town that's very adorable, and a record store just opened at the end of my block.
Ooh.
So we bought a bunch of records. We did not have a record player, my boyfriend and I.
Perfect excuse to get one.
But I have always had a handful of records, and this is pursuant to our conversation today, that I used as decoration for probably about 20 years. And one of those was a Clash live album, and another one was London Calling.
Nice. Oh,
And
the cover's just iconic.
It's just
Come
fun.
on. Yeah.
You know, and I love putting green together. It's just like perfect.
Yeah. And it sort of transcended that. It sort of transcended just being a simple album cover into being like a real piece of pop art, I think. I think that's putting too fine a point on it probably, but I think it's also true.
I think that's correct. And I think, considering the font they chose, I think that sort of jumps it into pop art territory too, But so we did get a record player.
Nice.
The owner of, and I guess I should shout out the store, The Score in Oakland, New Jersey. Owen's
shout
good
out.
Dude. He's got some great stuff in there. On like my boyfriend was having a bad day, and I ran in and said, "I saw you put a new Sigur Rós album out. I need it now."
There you go.
It's great.
Yeah.
But
I like that band too. We should talk about them sometime.
Oh, yeah, fun. So,
fun.
I mean, sleepy fun.
Sleepy fun. Is fun the word, but yeah,
I think I have fun sleeping now that I'm in my 40s. It's great.
God.
Yeah. Now, so anyways, we have a record player now. I hooked that all up, and it was so thrilling to finally listen to London Calling that I've been holding on to for all these years on vinyl. That was awesome. So my relationship with music right now, it continues to be pretty much a constant presence in my day, but now I can be more intentional about it.
Yeah.
And like put on an album, put on a record. And it's a totally different relationship when you have to be present to listen to it.
Yeah.
And knowing when it's done and, what do I want to do next? Like physically choosing what to listen to other than just like hitting a button and, getting the algorithm, which sometimes is great too, you know?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Man, and albums look so cool. Like a lot of the new ones, they're like different colored vinyl, or oh my God, we got one that's a clear vinyl.
I have one of those too. It's pretty cool.
Man. Yeah, the Booker T and the MG's Christmas album is clear. That one's cool. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Meg remains undefeated with references.
I don't know what this means exactly, but maybe you two can sort of pick this apart. This particular album sounds like something that will be good on vinyl. Like, I often hear people say that, like, this must be real good on vinyl. And I totally agree about certain albums, but I don't know why I'm agreeing. Like, I guess the thing is, I guess I have two questions for you both.
That's a good question.
Do you agree with this album, especially as someone who has listened to on vinyl now? And two, what does it mean when people say it's good on vinyl?
I cede the floor to Meg to start this.
All right. So just to begin with, this is a double album on vinyl.
Clearly.
So there's a lot of standing up to flip the record.
Yeah.
I think for me, the notion of this would be great on vinyl is I do not believe in our present day experience of listening to things on vinyl that it is passive. It can be background music. It can be whatever, you know, if this is more part of your day. But I think because you have to choose it, because you have to physically move to make the music happen, it is a more present activity. And therefore, I think it is more intentionally listening to an album. And that, I think, has a lot to do with why something's good on vinyl or not.
Because you give it enough attention.
Right. And there's something warmer about vinyl and pops and clicks and hearing the mechanism of it happen. I think because there's a mechanism happening, right? So the other two albums that popped in my head when you said that, Mike, that I've experienced that I'm like, oh man, I love putting this on the record player, is Neutral Milk Hotel in the Airplane Over the Sea, as we know, in the Pantheon. Right? You guys,
Jeff Tyson.
Okay, that's right. I wasn't at Fever Dream, right? That's a perfect album. And SZA, Control. And there's something about that that's like a little lo-fi, that's a little bit.
Yes.
It's a little bit immediate. And I don't want to say this because I don't think this about SZA, but like I think that album feels a little desperate for attention. And so like which is also, by the way, a perfect album. Like
also in the Pantheon.
Yeah, I mean, of course it was. Like the minute I saw that pop up on my feed, I was like, well, correct. That's excellent. I'm so glad we agree.
Damn.
But those
desperate, like the sound is desperate. Is that what you're saying?
And that's something for the Clash too. They just want you. I think, especially on a lot of this album, they want your attention. They need your attention. They want you. They want you to fucking wake up and listen to what they have to say. I don't know. Maybe that's the immediacy of vinyl.
Okay. Well, maybe we should talk about how you discovered this album. I mean, because ever since I've known you, you've always loved this album. But I'm curious, like, what is its origin story in your personal history?
Yeah.
Well, my first love, Marty Bricketto, who was an extraordinary person. He was a huge Clash fan. He was also the first person I ever knew in my entire life, and this is the late 90s, to wear a t-shirt ironically.
Which t-shirt?
Oh, he had an Oasis t-shirt, and we both absolutely hated Oasis. And he would wear it, and I think I was immediately mad, and then he explained that he was like wearing it because he hated them.
You still hate Oasis?
Of course. The worst.
That's so funny though, because at that time, like it's so subtly ironic.
Oh my God, like the late 90s, yes, of course.
Because you would see Oasis t-shirts anywhere, I assume.
He also refused to wear jeans in high school because they were establishment. It was like Dreamboat.
Oh my God, Dreamboat. Was he hot?
Oh my God, so hot. Like, unbelievably hot. Young John Cusack, like, oh my God.
Let's go, Marty. Yeah. Okay, I can see it now.
We dated a couple of times. Boy, his mom hates me. Now, this guy was the best, but he loved the Clash. He loved the Clash, and I absolutely did not engage with the Clash at that point. But I thought because he knew what was cool that I should probably be into it. Because
So
I
did he
was
get you into
firmly-
punk? Was that the
Yeah,
start for you?
I think passively. I think it was like
Mm.
after we broke up, like I was like, oh, well, maybe I should check out this stuff that was cool. And then, I went to college because that was high school, and I went to college, and I really, really wanted to be cool.
Yeah.
And Tyler, I gotta tell you, I was. Like,
I don't doubt that.
no,
I would
I
have
still
never.
am.
You
I still
don't
am.
like. You
It's
even
great.
have to tell me. Of course,
Being
you were cool in
is
college.
great. No,
I was not.
no, but it was. I started really delving in, and I think for me the big first attraction is Joe Strummer is an incredible rock voice, and I'm very attracted to that. I love a strong, distinctive rock voice. Love that. I'm
It's definitely up there
Pearl
with
Jam fan to the core. I love that Eddie Vedder growl,
I was going to say, was it, I mean, because
much maligned.
There is some overlap between Pearl Jam and The Clash, like in sound.
I think Pearl Jam would love to hear you say that.
But yeah. I guess that were you latching onto Pearl Jam before you heard The Clash, or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I had no idea The Clash existed in middle school when I was, deeply, deeply into Pearl Jam.
I have a question. I guess I have a question kind of vis-a-vis The Clash versus Pearl Jam for you both. And
Sure.
I guess I just wonder if there's this sort of political nature to The Clash that is inherent to who they are. But then there's a political element to Pearl Jam, and I might say grunge, that feels a little more implicit than it is explicit, And and I think with The Clash, it's very explicit, right? There's this explication of their beliefs and their ideas, like their political stances in the lyrics of these songs. What do you think the difference is there? How do you see the political nature of, maybe Pearl Jam and grunge relative to The Clash?
Well, not every Clash song is political, and I think that that's important because they do like to have a dance hit here and there.
Totally. Yeah.
And it depends who wrote the song. I think with The Clash, like, you're really looking at, is this a Mick Jones song that might be on the radio, or is this Joe Strummer wants to talk about, the
like
Spanish
a pop
War,
song,
or is Paul Simonon writing about the Guns of Brixton? Like, where are we at? Right? With Pearl Jam, I think I don't know, Mike, I can't wait to hear what you say about this, but there were a couple of times that I had the feeling that they were like, well, we have to say something about this. Riot Act in particular, I think, was their attempt at a political manifest, but an attempt. But then they also have a lot of songs about, like, man, I wish that lady didn't leave me or whatever.
Yeah.
Mike,
of course.
Okay, going back to when I brought forth a Pearl Jam album to enter the pantheon, I mean, I would say technically Pearl Jam only slips in under the grunge umbrella because, like, by association, because really what they're making is probably just rock music.
It's just hard rock, yeah.
And I think that, like, I don't know if grunge was political in the same way punk was. Here's what I will say.
Right.
The Clash seems pretty overt in terms of its like the political statements they made, but some of the reading I was doing, like the big thing that people differentiate the Clash from other punk bands is that the Clash weren't nihilistic. Like there's
Which is
still
such an interesting distinction, right?
there's like an optimism and there's a belief that something could change. I think Pearl Jam is actually pretty political. They just weren't. They didn't wear it on, didn't wear their heart on their sleeve as much.
Right.
And as they've gotten older, I mean, like, they give so much money to charity. Like, they are so, like, their beliefs are so progressive. There's a whole song when they discovered that a lot of their fans don't have the same beliefs they did. They wrote a whole song about it call "Not For You." They've had some swings and misses, like when they did a concert and they put on a George Bush mask and, like, sang their song about W. I think actually Pearl Jam is a deeply political band. It's just, it doesn't manifest itself the same way that it does with The Clash or certain other bands that are out there.
Well, maybe it's the kind of evolution of what it is to be a band like a commercially successful band in this day and age. Kind of like how, you know, we're postmodern from the, you know, from when the Clash was kind of first starting to have the kind of reach that they did and be a rock band with that kind of political stance, I think, especially for like being a white band too,
which they even addressed,
like,
I think, in some of their songs.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. You keep, I don't want to jump ahead to if you have further questions about this specific thing. But I mean, this one goes to 11 famously, is not on board with genre. So,
famously,
you keep saying punk, and I kind of want to talk about that, especially in the context of this full album, because
do it.
Oh man, yeah. So the Clash eponymous album, that is a punk record.
Anthem for the USA is a great song.
Yeah, of course. It's like incredible. But even on that album, you listen to This Is Radio Clash, that's a disco song. Like if you go back to that, that is 100% a disco song, dressed up in punk clothes, right? So, and then they play around with genre so much on London Calling that I have a really hard time categorizing London Calling as a punk album, because there is so much. I mean, Joe Strummer was obsessed with reggae, so there's a lot of reggae on there. There's
they all were, sounds like.
Yeah, I think more Joe than anybody. I think Mick Jones wanted to be on the radio real bad. You know, so you know he's over here writing about girls, but
there's a lot of combat rock written by Mick Jones.
The ones that got on the radio.
I was gonna say that's got the two like big radio hits. Yeah.
Yeah. But so, Sandinista is very heavy Joe, which is like, whoa.
Yeah.
So maybe let's bring it back.
It's a hard hang. That's a tough hang.
Yeah. So say more about what that, you know, post Marty kind of like getting back into the, you know, the music that he sort of first exposed you to. Like what other bands do you love of that ilk, like that maybe you learned about because of knowing about the Clash? Did you go down the rabbit hole?
I went down a Clash rabbit hole. So I was like collecting live recordings and like definitely with the help of my friend Zach. He was very good at finding obscure stuff like that. I partook in the famed Drew University London semester the year after Mike did. And that's when I really got into the Clash. That's where I was like listening to it on my Walkman all the time, walking around London, listening to London Calling, which is like a very iconic experience for me.
Very.
And then from there, it was like, okay, cool. Okay, so for real, I'm not ashamed of this. I'm a ska guy. So I have been a ska guy. So I was like, oh, great. This kind of like goes directly into that. So I was getting into the Specials and the Selector and a lot of British two-tone. And then like just the pure punk stuff. Like this is another Marty band. Mission of Burma was a big one for me.
I don't know that really.
Oh man, check them out. They're fun.
Okay, cool.
It's a great one.
Nice.
Yeah, that's when I reached for my Revolver. There's your entry point, and then I was getting into why can't I think of, because I got distracted now from Mission of Burma.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, Fugazi, all this stuff.
Fugazi, Rancid.
You know. Oh well, listen, Rancid.
Did I touch a nerve?
No, I'm just saying. I was going to bring this up if it came up, and thank you, you brought it. The song Time Bomb by Rancid, that could be on London Calling.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that song could and let's lift one of the bad ones out of London. London Calling's a perfect album, but not all the songs are great. So like, I feel like let's lift one of the songs out that could have been cut from the album and put Time Bomb
instead. Which one?
For me,
yeah. Which one do you drop?
I'm dropping Lovers Rock, I think.
Really? But I love the kind of lovers rock, like I love that tradition, like I love the tradition of the lovers rock song, like that's my vibe.
Okay, then how about Revolution Rock? I mean, that was a cover
Fair
anyway.
enough. Fair enough.
It does not to jump ahead, but it does thin out towards the end a little bit, doesn't it? Of the album, it does start to like.
There's a couple in there that you're like, oh, God, Joe. All right,
I was thinking about this because I was re-listening to it and thinking like, okay, no doubt about it. This is a classic album. This is an album like it deserves all the credit they got.
Iconic,
it's experimental. It's iconic. Canonical. The cover's iconic. The music's iconic. Even the songs that you're kind of like, all right, cool, this is happening now. Like you're still, it's not that the filler tracks, to use a Drag Race term, are like bad. Mm-hmm. It's like if you have the album playing and they play in the background, you're like, okay, cool, this is just part of this album. It just feels like I wouldn't choose to listen to some of the songs towards the end. Whereas a lot towards the beginning, like, Death or Glory, Rudy Can't Fail, obviously the title track, like Lost in the Supermarket, those feel very iconic. And towards the end, it all feels a little squidgy.
Yeah, squidgy is good. Yeah, but Death or Glory comes a little bit closer to the end, yeah? Or is it?
I think it's like in the middle.
It's like it feels like first half.
See,
for
now I actually wish I kind of wish now that I had listened to this the way I would have listened to it as vinyl, like stopping at the end of each side. Because now I'm curious, what are all the 4 sides? Like, does that?
I didn't bring the record up with me.
That's okay. Our listeners don't care.
Somebody's screaming into their headphones right now. It's obviously this.
You goddamn it! Do your research.
Yeah.
Clearly, they haven't been listening to this podcast
like I do. Like, no, you guys, it's this. Call Michael.
So we've been dancing around it. We've asked which track you would drop, which is not a question that we ask very often. So I might need to remember to keep that one in my quiver for when we need it. But on the other side of that coin, what would you say is the standout track from this album if you had to choose one?
All right, so a peek behind the curtain. This was asked to me before we recorded, and every day since I have told you my standout track, I have changed my mind. So I will go with what I emailed you and say the right profile.
So those of you who are experiencing the podcast on YouTube, our preferred method for consuming the podcast.
But not our preferred listeners. We love them all equally.
No. But some we love more equally than others, to quote George Orwell. So sorry, it feels like Orwell's the right person to be riffing on at this point. Zing. In any case, just go listen to the right profile, and we'll talk about it when you come.